Grief is real. I don't gotta explain that to any person. If you've been alive for even 1 second, you've experienced some form of pain, either physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, either abuse or neglect, everything in between. Past couple of years, I've dealt with a number of losses, right? I lost my dad to COVID in 2020. I lost my grandfather last year. I even got dumped by my girlfriend on my birthday, right? And dealing with other losses in my life it led me to spiral down into a deep depression. I cut my hair. I was suicidal. I had to move back home. Spent some time in the psych ward. Just gave up on myself, right? And I wasn't coping properly. I wasn't coping healthily. Good coping is intentional. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. God doesn't come down like, here, you have no more problems to deal with. You're done. It doesn't work like that. One of the most important things I've learned in 2022, going into 2023, right, is community is so important. Community with yourself, community with others, and even community with God, right? You're always with yourself. Always, at all times. Unless you can have an out-of-body experience. But outside of that ever happening, you're always with yourself. Your own neighbor. And the Bible says love your neighbor as yourself. And it's important to take the time to get to know yourself, to get to love yourself, to see yourself how God sees you. Number two, the community of people who support you. There's power in community, and too often we keep to ourselves because our pain isolates us from everyone. Like, oh, no one else experiences. No one understands me. No one can get it. Just like coping has to be intentional, forming and maintaining community also has to be intentional. And then lastly, obviously, community with God, man. We were made to commune with God. Even the word Emmanuel, God with us. God desires to be with us, to dwell with us, to spend time with us. It's the only way to build relationship. We weren't made to have a transactional relationship with God where we do stuff and he does stuff. We love him because he first loved us. And that should be the basis of our relationship. I want to know the one who loved me before I even know who I was. Is ultimately a commercial. Appreciative of Garry Graham and his intentionality supporting those who are experiencing losses. You know, every one of us is going to deal with loss of loved ones, loss of relationship, loss of opportunity, the perceived loss of our meaning and our purpose, right? And we all need a community where we can hear the stories of others, to hear their pain and let others just be uncomfortable with their pain and allow that space to be inviting and warm and transparent. We're like, I'm not alone in this. And I too can be encouraged by someone's story. And I could show that I've made progress. So every Monday night at 8 p.m. on Zoom, Garry Graham holds a grief group counseling session that's open to the public where people can share and listen to stories of grief and hear the progress people have made. Because grief, there are 5 stages of grief, but they all don't just happen in a nice, neat order. Sometimes you can experience multiple stages at the same time. And it will be an ever-going process. But I'm appreciative of not just being a part of a community where I can share my grief and listen to the stories of others, but I could be like, yo, I'm glad to say that I've become more intentional about my healing and my discovering at being a better Joel Wallace for Joel Wallace. All things that's happened the past few years, I would say right now in this moment, I'm the healthiest I've ever been emotionally. You know what the crazy thing is? I can even become more healthier. You deserve healing. You can get healing. It is hard. It is difficult. It comes with a lot of self-reflecting, self-awareness, and getting outside your head and becoming one with yourself, one with others, and one with God. But it can be done. I'm living proof that I'm still here. I didn't kill myself. I didn't drown myself. That I can say that God has kept me and that I have a community I could rely on, I could connect with, that helps me and I help them. So go seek healing today because you're worth it.
And the latest success has been grief counseling. And that's why we're here. Because we do grief counseling every Monday night. And when we do grief counseling, we decided, and I said we because the people in the group wanted to see each other face to face, and it was a different energy, and we've been doing that for once a month since, I guess, October or September. So when this came around, and I decided to double down, most famous work. So we're here twice a month to do grief counseling and voice to men. Grief counseling, trauma. Grief counseling, domestic violence. So it's the 1st and the 4th of every month we'll be here.